You ready?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Hey!
Is that good? Come on. Let's go.
You sure?
Let's ride.
You get it all out of you?
Let's get it.
Isn't that another shoulder bopping you?
That's my touchdown celebration.
Oh, you don't play football though.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Okay, sure. What's up, everybody? This is your girl, EJ.
And what's up with it, my people? This is your boy, FJ.
We got 5 tips
5 tips
for a successful marriage.
You said successful marriage.
Successful marriage.
Man, let's get it.
Let's get into it.
Number 1, you got to be friends. How is it possible that you sleep with someone, shop with someone, pay bills with someone, and you're not friends?
I do think that's where a lot of marriages in the beginning go wrong, because we have this idea of marriage and what love should be instead of pursuing a friendship. You know how a friendship can grow into a relationship and then it just kind of elevates from there. A lot of times we go after people because they look good, you know, or things that aren't necessarily, you know, concrete foundations of a friendship. Like you, my friend.
That's true.
When you're friends with someone, you'll go through a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? If you like the person that you're with, you'll stay a little bit longer. You'll fight a little bit harder when you're friends. But if you don't like that person, you know, it's harder to fight for something when you're not fighting with your friend. Number 2 is communication. You have to communicate. In marriage, you have 2 people that are now coming together as one unit. And that's hard. Meshing together, you know, compromising and sacrificing so much of yourself, you know, to be this one entity. I need to be able to say, hey, when you do this, it hurts me, rather than me not knowing how to talk to you, you being unapproachable, and then I'm bottled up and I'm walking around with resentment. I'm bitter in my marriage, you know, I'm bitter towards my husband. But if I can communicate, it may make things a little bit easier. You have to communicate about everything, about kids, about intimacy. That's such an uncomfortable conversation, you know, that people don't want to talk about sex. If you feel like your partner isn't satisfying you sexually, or if you want to introduce something sexually, or if you don't even know your own body sexually, these are things that you want to communicate about.
Since we kind of in the area of sex and communicating, if it's anything sexually that may be on your mind or that you may think about, that you may be scared to talk to your spouse about, man, I think it's very important that you do so. Regardless of how they may feel, regardless of what they may think. Because if you don't have that communication with them, or if you don't communicate with them like you should, you may end up stepping out, or you may end up exploring outside of your house when you can just simply talk to your wife or your husband about it.
So what I've learned in marriage, you have to be okay with having uncomfortable conversations.
Uncomfortable conversation.
And I say that, and we're still talking about communication. But if you feel like, you know, you're not being fulfilled in your marriage, if you feel lonely in your marriage, you know, a person that can communicate with their spouse is going to say, hey, you know, I'm feeling really lonely. I feel like maybe we need to implement a date night. You know, maybe you need to call your mom, maybe get a sitter, you know, let's, you know, get rid of the kids for a night. Yeah. We need to spend some, you know, some one-on-one time together. You know, if you can communicate that, that's awesome. But what about the people who can't say that? It's uncomfortable. How do I say you don't satisfy me? How do I say, you know, you're not spending no time with me? And, you know, because when you can't say it to your spouse, you may start saying it somewhere else. But if you want that thing to work, you got to lay it on the table. You got to be honest. You got to talk about it. And speak in love. You know, communication is not just about getting your point across. Well, I said what I had to say. I said what I said. You don't have to hit below the belt. Like, you can speak in love. Learn to do that, because you don't want to kill your spouse. Yeah. You don't want blood on your hands. You don't want them dying, you know, at the stroke of your tongue. You don't want that.
Number three. Number 3.
Oh.
Learn from your experiences. Whatever it may be.
This is good.
Learn from your experiences. Learn from your arguments. Learn from the words that you said on last week or yesterday that hurt. That right there, if you pay attention to, what you did wrong or what your spouse felt like you did wrong, I think it'll bring about longevity.
I think that's good that you can say if you pay attention to what you done wrong or what your spouse feels you done wrong. Because sometimes we don't have an intent to hurt our spouse or our partner. We don't have an intent, but that doesn't mean the damage isn't done. So sometimes it's about perception. If you go to the gym after you get off, that's not intentionally hurting me. But if I'm already feeling some type of way or I'm feeling lonely, I'm gonna feel like, well, he's investing more time into the gym. He's investing more time into himself when he could be spending that time with me. I'm hurt by that. So I think that's really good. You have to incorporate even your mate's perception of what is going on. That matters too. Even if you were in relationships before the person you married and you cheated or you got cheated on, I think it's very important. Sometimes we fall in love and then nothing or anyone from the past matters. And a lot of times that's why we have to start over. Because we've fallen so deep in love that we don't have a history. We don't have a past. And so sometimes you have to remember, what? This is the thing that I was feeling right before I cheated with my boyfriend. I don't want this to happen in my marriage. You have to like be honest with yourself. Number 4 to me is the most important. One of the most important is budgeting. The only reason why I say that is because money can destroy a marriage. Lack of money can destroy a marriage. I don't want to seem like it's harder for men to be broke than it is for women. I don't want to seem like that. But I know that the pressure is a little bit hotter for men. Because it's like, I have to take care of this household. This is my wife. These are my children. I'm responsible for them.
Got your budget out.
And you have to follow through. I'm learning. I am learning that it takes more than just writing it down. Execution is so important.
Sometimes you have to take your time and write the vision, make it plain. Maybe you need to start with a week and say, babe, let's try to save $50 this week. Or let's try, it don't even have to be $50. It could be $25. A start is a start.
And you know what? Again, the reason why I put so much weight on budgeting, because when you mess up your money, you mess up your credit. When you mess up your credit, that interferes with all types of purchases. Your car loans, your mortgage. It interferes with so many things when you have proven that you cannot handle money responsibly or you can't bounce back from something traumatic. Because of course, it's not always I'm broke because I splurge on my money or I squander. Sometimes it's just hard. You're going through something. Maybe you have to loan some money out or something. People don't pay you back. Whatever the case is, it doesn't make you a bad person. When you don't have money, you're mad at each other.
Yeah.
You can't spend time, with each other like you want to. If you can't take your lady to the movies, you know what I'm saying? That's frustrating. Money is just important, babe.
It is.
If you lose your car, can you imagine the fights you will have if your car gets repossessed? If you get evicted, if you lose your job, those are financial traumatic experiences. It will be like a domino effect. You know what I'm saying?
It could cause some tragedy. This last one is trust. Let's just start being honest.
Yeah.
Let's just cut to the chase. Let's be honest. And your life will work out better. Mm-hmm. Your marriage will work out better. Laughter will come. Mm-hmm. Happiness will come. Togetherness will come. Everything will start falling into place. I have a lock on my phone, and it's actually for my kids. My wife has the passcode.
Amen.
I can leave out the room. I can go up the street. You know why? Because for one, I communicate. Mm-hmm. I communicate. Mm-hmm. My wife trusts me.
I do.
And it's just that simple. I can go out throughout my whole day, 8-9 hours, work, come back home, phone in the same spot, no issues.
That's because I'm very strategic when I go through it. I make sure I put it right back in the same place I found it. I know a couple that the wife pulled up to the car lot, right? And said, honey, go in and pay my car note. She sent her husband in there to pay the car note. And 2 weeks later, they came and repossessed her car. Because he went in there to pay the car note, but he kept the money. If I can't trust you, you know what I'm saying? Like if I can't trust you to go in, like to go 13 feet and handle our business, we got a major problem.
So they pulled up at the lot together.
They pulled up at the car lot. And she said, babe, honey, go in and pay my car note. Here's the money. He went in, maybe chatted with the representatives.
That's dangerous.
Came back out.
That's dangerous.
And she ended up finding out that he had a gambling addiction. You know, can I trust you to have an argument without calling your mama?
Yeah.
Without calling your best friends, and then your best friends look at me crazy.
Yeah. Can I trust you with my heart?
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Man, we take relationships lightly.
You have to ask yourself, again, all of these uncomfortable questions. Can I trust you with my heart? Can I trust you with my body? Can I trust you with my children? These are uncomfortable. You know, people don't, you know, when you ask these things, a lot of times people get offended. You know, what you mean? Can you trust me? Of course you can trust me. You know, these are still bridges we have to cross. We got to talk about the uncomfortable things. If you can't trust somebody, that's a brick wall that you cannot get through. When you don't trust someone, when you don't trust your husband, every time he goes to work, you worried, you concerned, you tripping. Every time, you know, he's out with his friends, you have no peace. Yeah. And it's not just about not being trustworthy. It also goes back to learning from your past experiences. If you've cheated on me before, of course we're going to have trust issues. Of course. Yeah. You know, if you've missed a bill payment before, of course we're going to have trust issues. I don't trust you with money. Yeah. Because you don't handle business and you don't think about the entire household. All right, so those were our top 5.
Top 5.
Not the all top 5, not the ultimate top 5. You know, of course there are other tips you could give, you know, right, to create a successful marriage. You know, like don't cheat. Don't beat me. You know, it's a lot of other things. You know, yeah. You know, like, you know, don't sleep with my sister. You know, there's a lot of common things that we could have discussed.
Don't sleep with your sister.
Yeah.
People sleep with people's sister.
Mm-hmm. I see it every day on the Jerry Springer show.
Man, that's dope.
All right, so let's do a quick recap. You got trust.
You got trust.
You got communication.
You got communication.
You got learning from experience.
You got learning from experience.
You got budgeting.
You got budgeting.
And what was the other?
And you got friendship.
And you got friendship. We hope this helps somebody, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Peace.